When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hey guys, this is the Void Little Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. As we continue where we last left off, after some brief skirmishes with a band of lowlifes and vampires, Izuku found out the vampires are connected with Derek, a traitor warlock, and a well-dressed man with a black mask. Izuku doesn't know what his part in all of this. Izuku did eventually return back to UA, as you see Principal Nezu and Izuku are throwing out ideas how to deal with the safety committee after finding out several members on the safety committee council, pretty much all of them, are non-human, making All Might and Mirako a bit nervous. Just watching the two with sinister smirks on their face. Clearly it's not helping the matter. After some time, All Might and Mirako eventually went home after enough time passed, when everyone got the okay that it's safe. Meanwhile, Principal Nezu and Izuku spent the entire night shooting off different ideas to make their plan. They did this for the entire night, as the sun begins to rise. And eventually Nezu revealed to Izuku all the higher-ups of the Safety Committee Council are all changelings. Izuku knows a little bit about changelings. They are a supernatural creature that could change their body to pretty much anything. They are severely dangerous. A severely dangerous supernatural creature with slightly above human strength. But that's not what makes them dangerous. What makes them dangerous is their tough skin. Bullets wouldn't even puncture their skin. It'll just bounce off. Only weakness that the changelings have are fire and silver. So has to set things up for their plan to work. So Izuku decided to get a room at the local hotel that's about 2 miles away from UA. It is the closest establishment that's near UA's campus. Izuku needed to get some sleep. After he paid for his room and checked in, he immediately passed out. He gave Nezu his number, so when it's time to activate their plan, he'll have a way to contact him. Then the next day, Shoka did call him. Or actually, he called her to update her on current events. The job's done, Shoka. Good job. When will you be heading home? Not sure yet. There's another matter I need to take care of. I can't tell you full details over the phone. Someone might be listening. As Izuku got off his bed and looked through the corner of the curtains, to see if anyone was parked in front of the hotel. As she shut them and leaned against the wall right next to the window. Someone tried to kill the Chimera. I stopped the attempt. It was either one sniper or several. The Chimera believes they're connected to the Safety Committee. He informed me of the Safety Committee and how they have so many non-human members. Changelings are not extremely strong, but compared to humans, they're above the food chain. They're extremely crafty, though. Crafty. The vampires in this city are connected with Derek in some fashion. He's not still in the city. I can't sense him anymore. He's plotting something. I'll tell you the full story once I get back. I need to deal with these changelings. The moment Shoka heard the name Derek, she accidentally froze in her entire office. After a few seconds of pure anger, she composed herself. If you come across him again, don't engage. We don't know what he's after. I wasn't planning to. You seem keen to make him dead. And I would never deny you as such a pleasure. Thank you, my friend. Don't mention it. As worried I am about you, in that while you're in that human city, if I showed up, things would get complicated. If things get out of hand, I want you to get out of there ASAP. Noted. I have some work to do. If it's not all frozen by now, update me on your progress. The job might be completed, but I would rather you not to get yourself killed, if I could help it. I'll be careful and I'll update you on my progress. Talk to you later, Shoka. Izuku disconnected the call and took out his aunt's monster journal that she constantly updated during her time when she was alive. She's came across a lot of different kind of supernatural creatures she's fought, so she filled what information about them she can in her journal. Monster journal, basically what it is. Izuku wanted to do some research on changelings, and surprisingly, there's a lot of information about them. There's one thing Izumi taught Izuku. His knowledge is the most powerful tool in a hunter's arsenal. Izuku called room service to order some food. As he placed his phone on the charger, on the table, and took out the tablet that he got from Woods, as he begins reading what information was on it. After learning all he can in the monster manual, he basically started reading through the tablet. He was interrupted by the door as he opened it up and got the tray of food and thanked the nice maid. That's in the maid uniform, basically. And gave her a generous tip as he shut the door, and afterwards he began eating immediately. As he continued to look through the tablet, he learned there's 4 different vampire cities in Japan. There's also 5 different human cities, alongside with villages scattered all around. But for some reason, the werewolves only have one city. They don't let outsiders in. The rulers of the vampire cities, all of them take orders from the Vampire Queen. There's not much on the capital, on the tablet, but there's some useful information. It's quite a tourist attraction, and for some reason the vampires don't really care if other species visit their capital, as long as you don't cause trouble. Izuku decided to take a stroll. He took his phone and placed it into his pocket when it was fully charged, and walked out of the hotel room and walked down the street of the city for some more sightseeing, considering Nezu has not contacted him yet. Izuku found himself on Dagobah Beach. He decided to walk through the sand and just listen to the sounds of waves. Izuku spots someone training with dummies that's tied up to a... Dummies are tied to a rope on a thick pole, dug deep into the sand. As these dummies are all lined up a certain way around a brunette girl. Judging by looks, Izuku can tell, she looks to be around 18, maybe 17 years old. The girl is probably 4 years older than Izuku. Izuku is currently 14 years old, and the girl might be older than him, but she clearly is not experienced. Just by she doesn't even have a form while she's practicing with a practice sword. Izuku observed the 18-year-old girl, brunette, through her whole training, just observing her. Izuku can tell the girl has some talent with a sword. She just needs the proper form. Izuku knows a group of older kids that look to be around the same age as the brunette. While the girl was training, the group of teens approached her. Izuku watched the situation in great interest. By the look of the brunette face, she's not very happy to see these teens, so Izuku suspects that's not her friends. Izuku watched the situation escalate to violence as they're all trying to attack the girl. As the brunette is doing good, dodging and weaving around their attacks. Not bad. She has good reflexes at least. And a battle instinct. As we cut to the brunette perspective. I butchered that, but anyways, let's just continue on. After Uraraka set up the practice dummies and started practicing with her wooden sword, just getting the hang of it. She's still trying to figure out how to combine using a sword and using her quirk into some sort of fighting style. The practice sword is made just wood. She got a discount from a local martial arts shop that's near her house. Ochako is trying to figure out a way to implement her quirk with her combat style with a short sword. She's practicing with a shorter than normal practice sword. It's about the length of a short katana. Ochako did not notice a green-eyed kid watching her practice off to the side. She heard some noise coming from behind her, and she saw the same group of teens from her school. They're borderline almost a gang. They're a bunch of delinquents that always gave her a hard time because she wanted to be a hunter instead of a hero. Ochako's dream was always to be a hunter. and experience the world hunting monsters. Hunting monsters always did appeal to her more than being a hero, and it pays a lot more. Whoa. It isn't the hunter girl. What the hell do you want? I'm training. We really don't understand why you would want to be a pathetic hunter. You do have a decent quirk. Why would I want to be a hero? When I can be a hunter, it pays a lot more. Anyone that wants to be a hero nowadays, let's try that again. Anyone that wants to be a hero nowadays are idiots. The hero system is corrupt as hell. There's a good few heroes out there, but I'm not going to waste my time with something that's not worth my time. You little bitch. It's about time we put you in the rest of you little hunters that's living in this city in their place. Several of the teens rush towards Ochako, only for her to dodge and weave around them. She might not have been fully trained using the way of the sword, but she's pretty much an expert in hand-to-hand combat. The moment one of them swung a metal bat towards her, she ducked under the swung and rammed her knee into his face, making the teen wobble back a few steps backwards, then swung her practice sword over his face, making him hit the ground hard from her pure physical strength, making the sand dust a little bit from that sort of impact hitting the sand. Nothing too major. It looked painful though, as they all group up on her. As one of the teens managed to hit her in the face by ramming his elbow into her face, she jumped and backflip and spin around and spit some blood from her mouth and got into her own sword stance that she knows. Nothing too, that's basic. Very good one. But the teens weren't staying idle. They surround her again. Try to go for another wave. They decided to attack her all at once. Ochako managed to get a good hit, but ultimately there were too many. When the ringleader tried to swing his bat, landing the finishing blow, onto the side, you see Izuku create a sword with a sheath. Izuku flash stepped right in front of the swinging metal bat that's about to hit her to the back of the head. He blocked the bat with the sheath of his sword as Izuku's eyes glow green. Oh no, that's not very nice. Who the hell are you? The moment Izuku heard that, he got a wide grin on his face. I thought you would never ask. I am Izuku fucking Midoriya, and I'm a hunter. I heard you disrespect my profession, so allow me to show you what a hunter can do. Now boys, try not to blink. The teens were confused by his proclamation. Izuku disappeared and reappeared and slammed his handle of his sword, still in the sheath, into the leader's stomach, then jump up in midair and roundhouse kick him in the face with his foot. And the moment when he landed, while he was airborne, he palm striked He palm strike the kid in the chest, make him go on flying backwards, hitting the sand like a ragdoll. As he heard a swinging bat coming his way, as he unsheathed his blade and cut the bat in half with his black katana. How the hell did you do that? Izuku looks confused. He heard clearly a bat being swung, but what he saw is a sword that he just cut in half. How the hell did you do that? That was my sword, my quirk. That's supposed to be pure silver. Not silver, but steel. It's a neat trick. Don't know how you did that, but no matter. But for your answer, it's quite simple. It's because you're weak. I could have end all of you with my sword. I could even end you with a wooden one. I just have more superior abilities. So, shall we finish up, boys? Shall we finish up here, little boys? Who the hell are you calling little, brat? When I look at you, kid, you look like you haven't even finished middle school yet. Shouldn't you be with your mother, little lost child? Izuku bursts out laughing. You did it now. I was just going to knock you all out because of your little comment. I'm going to make you suffer. For your idiot friend over there. Izuku point his sword back into his sheath. I'll be finishing him off. He seems to be the ringleader of the little flock. Izuku ducked under a bat that was about to hit him in the back of the head. Izuku jumped backwards and spin and jump backwards and grab onto the bat. He actually he stopped it from hitting his face by grabbing the kid's wrist as he begins to apply pressure. Slowly and surely provide more pressure to his wrist. As the team dropped the bat and screamed out in pain, as Izuku rammed his elbow into his face. As there's a slight wind stroke. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? Wind pressure from that slight attack. As the team falls down, he's knocked the hell out. He's not getting up anytime soon. Izuku gently picked up the bat from the sand. I'm not one for bats. Never really played the game, but I'm adept. Well, boys, school's in session. Izuku saw a incoming fist, so he did the most natural thing possible. He swung the bat into the man's fist. As teens scream out in pain, the moment he let his guard down, he ran up and jammed the handle of the bat into the man's face, then swung his knees or legs underneath them, then slammed his fist into the temple of his head. When he was about to fall down, Izuku landed another punch into his chest, making him hit the sand even harder, scattering the sand. From Izuku's hunter strength, he's only using about 2% of his physical strength, fighting these punks. 2 down. Well, he'll probably get back up. But anyways, only a few of you left. Izuku motioned his hand into a just bring it gesture, pissing off the remaining conscious teams. The only one that's not unconscious is the leader that got back up from being manhandled like that and rejoin his little group. Izuku noticed one of the teens come rushing forward towards his direction. With impressive speed, he cocked his hand backwards and gave out a mighty strike. He's quite surprised by the black hair teen landing his own fist onto his cheek as they both hit each other in the face. With impressive strength, he slapped his fist away and palm struck him in the chest, making him go sliding backwards a little bit. Strength quirk. As his opponent nod. You're only the second I've come across with your type of quirk. Izuku increased his speed, giving the teen a vicious headbutt, followed up with a powerful palm strike across the face. Then the teen was lifted off the air a few inches away from the ground. Izuku flashed above him and slammed his fist into his stomach as his opponent falls unconscious because of the contact of the blows and hitting the sand hard. As another one down. Boys, you're dropping like flies. Izuku stares down at the unconscious teen, immediately kick him out of the way. Now that the piece of trash is out of the way, I have actually room to fight. You're gonna pay for that. We still outnumber you. Izuku put his hand over his face and tilted his head backwards, then began laughing. If it wasn't for his hand covering his face, facial expressions, they would see a devilish grin on his face, while laughing hysterically. What's so funny? What I find absolutely hilarious to think the three of you, or four, I don't really care, that you couldn't take me on. You're nothing but city kids. You're pampered and by the looks of your clothing, probably spoiled and arrogant of the real world. I bet the three of you I bet the three of you would not even last a day outside of the safety city walls of this human settlement. That wouldn't be a problem for us. We have strong quirks. As they all boast smugly, with smugly expressions on their face. And that's what makes you stupid, given your abilities are impressive. But when you're outside, the moment you step out, they would eat you alive. The feral vampires would drain you dry, while the feral werewolves feast on your dead corpse. Seen on occasion them hunting together, you would not last a single second outside of these safe walls of yours. I can guarantee you would not survive the night. But you have no right to criticize the brunette over here. Unlike you sheep, she has driven and confidence in herself to achieve her goals. But of course, I highly doubt any of this information is getting into your brain. So let's end this. Let's do this nice and quick. I don't have the energy to knock all of you out all at once. Izuku extended his hand outwards towards the teams as a small magic circle appeared over the bottom of his hand. As the circle starts to go in circles, as the markings would change, as the magic circle begins to emanate electricity. I do apologize for what's about to happen. It's one of my weakest spells, so the chances of you dying is very unlikely. But who knows? I might get lucky, as Izuku has a vicious grin on his face that return with a fury. 3 shots of electric bolts shoot out towards the teams out of the magic circle, as all the 3 teams the remaining teams all got hit by the electricity, making them unconscious. A little burn in there, but nothing too serious. Nothing from a trip to the hospital would fix. Izuku put his hands in his pocket and calmly walked over to the 3 teams. He shot the leader with another electricity, does for kicks. You seem all alive. That's a shame. He repeatedly shocking the leader while he's still unconscious. Izuku was broken out of his fun. That was awesome. I've never seen a hunter with magic before. It's a very difficult craft to wield, and most hunters don't really bother with it because it takes many years of practice. I believe most hunters would rather not bother with such a art, but I find magic very useful in all sorts of situations. Do you have like a witch or warlock heritage? Not exactly. My clan were originally magic users, that is true, but they weren't warlocks or witches. I just got lucky. Can I get your name at least? I don't want to keep calling you a brunette girl. Oh, sorry. I'm Ochako. Totally forgot to introduce myself, making the situation extremely embarrassing for Shoka. No, sorry, not Shoka. Ochako. A different character. All right, let's continue. After embarrassing herself for a few seconds, she regained her composure as she properly introduced herself. Ochako Araka. Izuku Midoriya. That last name sounds familiar. I can't remember where I heard it, but it's definitely familiar. You're probably talking about my clan, the Midoriyas. I remember now. They're a kind of vampire hunter clan. If I remember right, they concentrate on only vampires. Mostly they do. I can see it now. You're aggressive, vicious. Seeing your actions for that douchebag over there. Yeah, you're definitely Midoriya. People from your clan tend to be vicious. Most normal people in the city would consider them Midoriya's psychopathic. No offense, Izuku. I'm not trying to badmouth your clan. I'm just stating the facts of what people most likely believe around here. Or everywhere. Definitely a smart one. No, I'm not offended. You're pretty much spot on description of my clan. They're a lost cause. Long story short, I hate my family and I would like to eradicate them. I'm just waiting for them to give me an excuse to purge them. My uncle owes me a debt and I do plan to collect. Enough about unpleasant conversation. Do you have a spare practice sword by any chance? I have a couple. What? So we're going to move locations, and I'm going to help you out. Her facial expression turned to a bright smile as she bowed and thanked him. As they gather up the swords and dummies and move to a different location. so they won't get interrupted if those punks ever regain consciousness. He highly doubt that, but he wants to move training and he wants to move to a different location on the beach anyways. He decided he wanted to help her out and see if she would be a good addition to his team. After they set everything up, they're standing in front of each other with their practice swords in their hands. Get your sword ready. As she followed his order, Izuku spoke up further. You have great instincts, but you're lacking form. That form you're using, that's... the form you were using, forget it. I'm going to teach you a actual form that will help you. Whoever taught you that form needs to be run through in half with a sharp katana. Or burn alive. I would prefer burning alive. Now please copy my movements. As Izuku got into an actual sword stance that will do its job and started to perform it, Izuku instructed Ochako in every stance, move, all the shortcomings, where your blind spot is when you're in this stance. This fighting style has many moves, so there's, like all fighting stance, there's always going to be a weak spot somewhere. But he planned to train her into quick draws, so she won't have that problem. He even taught her some more advanced combat stances. When the lesson finally ended, the sun was beginning to fall. Ochako was breathing heavy. We should probably call it a day. I'll be here in the city for a good amount of time. It would be in my best interest if we trade contact information, so we could set up a schedule. You're going to teach me more? Of course. I'm currently looking for recruits for my hunter team. And if you impress me through our training, you might earn that spot. I would rather recruit someone that I personally train than someone I picked up off the streets. So what do you say? You got yourself a deal. As she exchanged contact information with Izuku, getting his phone number and vice versa. Just text me when you're free, then I'll adjust my schedule to that. I'll catch you later. Thanks again. No problem, Araka. I'll see you when I see you. As Izuku walks off to head back to his hotel, several weeks has passed, while Nezu get everything set up for their confrontation with the safety committee. Izuku's been staying staying at the hotel, and training Ochako, or Araka, teaching Araka about the sword. Ochako managed to surprise Izuku more than once. He could tell she's very driven to make her life better for her parents. Izuku could tell she genuinely wants to be a hero, and the money will help her parents from being out of debt, so they don't have to work so hard. Izuku couldn't help but to admire that quality about her. The drive to help her family was quite inspiring. He finds it inspiring, but he doesn't understand it at the same time. Have what you have, he wouldn't have what you have a good family connection. There is, because he wants to murder them all. Came to Ochako side of things during her training. At first, she didn't think much of him. She doubted he could teach her anything value, anything that would be useful. She let his young age affect her opinion of him. But her opinion changed real fast during the time he's been training with her, or she's been training with him. And now, with the sword stance that she's learned, she's a lot more effective. Over the weeks, she gained respect towards Izuku. She soon found out, despite how young he looks, he's quite clever and brutal in his training, and fighting in general. Has a sinking feeling he enjoys hurting his opponents. But that's typical. That's the norm when it comes to Midoriyas. Izuku has almost been in this human city for an entire month. Izuku decided to test Ochako in her very first hunt. There's a cave near the city, that someone wants to be cleared out. According to Shoka's intel, it got overran by a small group of ghouls. Izuku scouted the cave and the small cave system, and their numbers. It's a very small group, about 10 of them, and a small cave system. Ochako is waiting for Izuku to show up at the beach. I do apologize. I would have been here sooner. I was getting things set up for your first hunt. That's fine. Wait, my first hunt? You have progressed quite fast. I could say, honestly, you're natural. I've only trained you how to use the sword and taught you a few techniques. It's up to you how you utilize your gravity quirk in combat. But that doesn't mean there's still things but that doesn't mean you're done learning. I have a lot of things I could teach you that would fit well with your fighting style. Catch. As Izuku caught a short katana at Araka, still in the sheath. As she drew out the short katana, as she swung it around, this katana is so light. As she admires the black blade, paraded it with my quirk, is a black silver short katana. It's a bit longer than your normal short katana, but not by much. It will give you a wider range. As you know, majority of supernatural creatures are very weak against silver. Not all, but a good portion of them are. Thank you. As she sheathed her new sword, as she admired the sheath of the blade, or the sword. It's black, too. Made of the same metal. It's light as well. It barely feels any weight while wielding the sword or carrying it around. So, weight's not going to be a discomfort for her. And it won't slow her down in her movements. So, where are we going? Outside of the city, your hunt is in a nearby forest. The client wants the monsters cleared out. Apparently, there is a rare species of bat that the client is interested in researching, but he can't get to it because of the ghouls. If things get a hand, I'll step in, but for the most part, this is your hunt. I'll be accompanying you and giving you guidance when needed. Thank you, Izuku. I won't let you down. How are we getting there? By car, of course. You have a car? That I do. Aren't you aren't you a little young to be driving? Hopefully, please, tell me you do have a license. What the hell is a license? Ochako sweat drop at the response. Keys. Pardon? I'll drive. I would like to survive the car ride over there. Izuku blinked a couple of times as he grumbles, as he tossed the keys over to Ochako. Stupid city, stupid laws. As Izuku is still 14 years old. He clearly doesn't have a license. Only reason he knows how to drive is because he learned firsthand experience after stealing the vehicle from the scavengers that he butchered. Once they got to the vehicle, Izuku got in the passenger seat, while Ochako got in the driver's seat, and put the car keys in the ignition by turning the key, starting the engine. The car stopped once they got out of the city. As his new companion turned to him. So, where exactly are we going? Izuku handed over a small device, GPS device. I've already programmed the destination in already. You just have to follow it. Thanks. You're pretty well equipped. Kinda have to be when you go solo. There's a lot of things could go wrong. Wake me up when we get there. Izuku closed his eyes and fell asleep after he tilted the seat backwards a little bit, so he's more comfortable. When the car stopped moving, Izuku pushed the seat back up and opened his eyes. We just arrived. I was about to wake you up. It's quite alright. I'll follow your lead. I'll provide support if needed. How are you going to do that? I have my ways. Let's get moving and start the hunt. Copy that. As she got out of the car and followed the dirt road leading into a forest, while Izuku was right behind her, looking all around. Ochako remained quiet so they don't advertise themselves to anything that's in the forest. She knows forests are usually infested with feral vampires and werewolves and other creatures. She's never seen or heard many of the different creatures she's heard of, or the outside, except for the stories her parents would tell her. It was exciting to hear and terrifying at the same time, but mostly she was excited at the thought of being a hunter, traveling the world, exploring the great unknowns. It was very appealing to her when she was just a girl. Growing up hearing all those kind of tales and rumors, she believed most of the stories were exaggerated a little bit, but she still find it interesting. Most of her friends switched to wanted to be a hero, but Araka has always wanted to be a hunter. A warning, Izuku jumped onto one of the tree branches. As he begins to jump from tree branch to tree branch, he contacts Ochako by her earpiece that he gave her off camera in the car. That's because it is more convenient this way, but anyway, let's continue. I will observe you through the shadows. You might not be able to see me, but I have your back if things get out of hand. Got it. How far away are we from the cave? About a mile. Just ahead. Just continue the dirt road. Once you come upon a fork, take the trail to the right, and that will lead you directly towards the cave. That needs to be cleared out. Good luck. Thank you, Izuku. I'm going radio silent from this point forward. Understood. Ochako continued to walk on the trail until she saw the pathway that lead to two different directions. She followed Izuku's instructions and took the path to the right. 20 minutes later, she finally approached the cave. She immediately hid behind one of the bigger trees to see one of the ghouls coming out of the small cave. Alright, Ochako, you got this. You just need to take out a very dangerous ghoul that pretty much eats anything that it gets his hands on. That's all. Easy. Let's get this started. As Ochako sighs and pumps herself up, Ochako approached the ghoul that was walking away from the cave by using the shadows as she used as cover. Before the ghoul could catch on to her scent, Ochako ran her katana through the chest of the ghoul, piercing its heart, then immediately decapitating the monster afterwards. She begins to drag the body into a nearby bush alongside with the head to cover her tracks. Ochako saw another one walking out of the cave. She panicked, and she only had enough time to hide behind an old tree trunk of a dead tree that's about the right to the entryway of the cave when she noticed the ghoul turn its back. Ochako ran towards the ghoul and placed all 5 fingers on the back of the ghoul. As the ghoul begins to float upwards, Ochako, using her gravity cord. When the ghoul was floating in the air, Ochako immediately unsheathed her sword, chopping the head of the ghoul off its body, as she instantly deactivated her quirk by placing her thumb against her index finger. Index finger one-handed. Only learned to activate and deactivate her quirk one-handed by training alone. Trying to recreate her training, what happened one time when she accidentally increased the gravity of something. She's been trying to recreate that, but no luck so far. But she's already getting close to achieving that. After hiding the body, as she goes over her inner thoughts, according to Izuku, there's about 10 of them. I've already neutralized 2 of them, so there should be 8 left. Let's do this nice and quiet. I want to kill as many as I can before they notice my presence. I'd rather not get grouped it up or flanked up. Ochako entered the cave that led to a small cave system. Izuku watched a rocket enter the cave. Izuku jumped off the tree and land in front of the entryway, then leaned against the cave wall from the outside and crossed his hands across his chest. A pretty good start. Izuku opened the palm of his hand as a magical circle appeared as a small crystal ball manifests in the palm of his hand, as it's showing images of inside the cave. As you can see Ochako walking down the cave system, as he watches her go through one pathway to another, to to the more complex tunnels. Ochako is continuing through the pathway. She heard some footsteps coming towards her direction. The only thing she could hide behind is a small boulder that's in the pathway. As she hid behind it, as she pulled out several throwing knives that's attached around her leg. As she begins activating her quirk and will throw them up. Sorry, again. She immediately activated her quirk and threw up the daggers in the air as they're hovering above. When they all turn, when all the pointed areas started to point downwards. As she picked up one of the pebbles off the ground and tossed it to lure a ghoul that's in the same pathway of her. As when the moment the ghoul got underneath the knives, all the throwing knives deactivate. Well, as Ochako deactivated her quirk, the knives go falling downwards. They weren't very high to cause any serious damage, but she only did that to use them as a distraction as she ran towards him and unsheathed her sword and slash towards the neck, cutting the monster's head off. As Ochako sheathed her sword and continued to walk the pathway of the cave. She's definitely using her quirk in her favor. Izuku could hear footsteps coming towards his direction through the forest as he sees a group of feral vampires approaching him. Figured a couple of you lot would find yourself here, like the vultures you are. The moment you caught the scent, you came rushing to get a quick and easy meal. Unfortunately, it's not your lucky day. Izuku placed a small crystal ball on the ground as he stood off from the wall of the cave wall, and walked towards the slowly approaching vampires as he slowly unsheathed his blade as he stares down at the 4 feral vampires that are showing their fangs at him and screeching at him in an animalistic fashion. I know you're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna have to stop you here. That's only how much I have, so I will continue this on the next part. So I hope you guys have a good night and day, judging my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.